So speaking of the bakery business in Nigeria, did you know that it's probably one of the oldest cooking method, if not the oldest cooking method, with products like bread, cookies, pastries, and of course rolls and so much more. Today on SME Hub, we'll be delving into the bakery business to find out the economic activities of such business vis-a-vis the ease of doing business in Nigeria, and of course, the profitability of such venture. Yes, you heard me right. Today, I'm being joined by a business owner who runs a bakery business in Nigeria, of course, Lagos precisely. And of course, she is by name Folashade Dosumo. She is the CEO, and as she calls it, delicious bakery and cafe. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here today.
All right, so how long have you been in this business? And of course, what was it like? Because I know that for people who are delving into business for the first time, there are so much fears and of course challenges that they envisage they would be able to face with. But then, what exactly is it for you in terms of how long have you been in the business and what was the challenge like when you started out?
Okay, so I've been in the business, well, when it comes to baking and cooking, for a while, for quite some time. I started sometime, well, basically during my secondary school. I was doing that as a side hustle, baking and all. But I actually went official in 2020. So that was when I registered the business and all of that. And my church at that period was giving grants. So I was able to get a grant from the church, which is what I used to start. At least I bought although when I first started, that was 2020, I didn't have capital, but I had a freezer, which I wasn't using. So I sold that. I think I sold it for about 20K or there, but I can't remember. So that was what I used to buy my pans, to make my pans, buy a few ingredients and all of that. And so after the grant, I was able to increase my stock, and basically I started officially. And so I opened an Instagram account, which was, so for the first 2 years, it was majorly Instagram. So I was doing a lot of Instagram sponsored ads, which was the medium through which I was getting more of my customers and all that. So yeah, so that was how I started.
All right, so when you talk about brands, because that in itself is something that catches the attention of every startup. What's the value realistically in terms of the grant? What was the value?
Okay, it was 200,000. Yeah, but I was giving like half of it, then later the remaining.
Okay, so you started officially in 2020?
Yes.
So that's like 3 years down the line?
Yes.
All right, so how's the journey been so far?
It has been interesting, of course challenging, but it has been interesting majorly because of the niche in which I'm operating in. So I'm into the healthy cakes and bakes majorly, though I do the regular white flour stuff like that. But I realized when I was coming back into the business, I didn't want to be because the market is saturated with a lot of bakers, and also I wanted something different, and I actually wanted to meet a need. So I did my research on the health sector and realized that okay, we don't really have much of the cakes and bakes that are healthy. For people who are health conscious, who have, they just want to eat healthy and all of that. So I dived into it, and it has been really rewarding because there are people who I meet who are like, I don't eat salt, I don't want sugar, I don't want milk, I don't want, they're gluten-free, they want gluten-free. So it's a lot. And I'm happy to be able to meet that need. The fact that, okay, I can make a cake for you and without sugar, without the milk, you understand? So diet-specific cakes and bakes. So yeah, it has been rewarding, of course challenging. Every business, especially in Nigeria, but yes, it has been rewarding.
So, all right, so you talked about the fact that you have a niche. So what are those products that you produce from your bakery to meet people or persons in that particular category?
Okay, so we make cake breads. So it's cake bread because we make it like in the form of cake. But it's bread because excuse me, you can eat it with eggs or spreads like butter, jam and all. And we also don't use yeast. We use other raising agents such as baking powder, baking soda. Yeah, so we make cake breads, we make cookies, we make pastries. Yeah, so make those as major items. All right,
so where do you source the materials, your raw materials from? Are they locally sourced or they are, sourced overseas?
Well, the majority of it is locally sourced. For example, oats, you get oats here, baking powder and all of that. But the ingredients that are really specific, like the sweeteners, because we don't use sugar, so we use the powdered sweeteners. Those ones are, of course, locally, but I get them from the supermarkets.
Okay.
You know, they sell it in supermarkets. So we use honeys, we use powdered sweeteners. Then also we use fruits as well. Our nuts are from here. We get nuts from here. So it's a mixture, but majorly most of it is sourced from Nigeria.
So what's the cost of these things like in terms of sourcing these materials, the ones you source locally?
Okay.
What's the cost like, and where exactly do you source in terms of local geographical placement?
Yeah, so most of them are quite expensive. For example, getting the nuts like almond nuts, which we use, cashew nuts. Okay. They are on their, especially almonds, they're on the high side. Then the sweeteners as well, because they are foreign. You understand? So getting it from here are also expensive. So that also impacts on the prices of our products. Yeah, but in terms of oats, we know oats are quite reasonable anyways, because I buy my oats in the bag and all of that. So the oats here, but the other ones that are quite expensive are the sweeteners and the nuts and the seeds. Yeah.
So when it comes to the point where you need to decide on the pricing of your products,
yes,
what influences it?
Oh, definitely the price of the ingredients. Majorly the price of the ingredients. Yeah, then yeah, majorly the price of the ingredients.
Okay, so now let's get down to Naira and Kobo, as they say.
Okay.
So, can you say boldly that since you started this business in 2020, you know, fast forward to this time, can you say boldly that you have been able to realize your ROI from the business, or are you yet to get?
I'm yet to. Let's say I'm in the middle of it. Yeah, I'm yet to, because of the prices of the goods. They're not items that the regular Jew will buy because of the price. For example, the minimum price for my cake loaf starts from like 2,500, 3,000. You understand? And so you tell a regular Jew, oh, the person, just for bread, you know, because they don't understand. Do you understand? So basically, I look at my target audience are people who can really afford and who know the value of what they are getting. So yes.
Okay, so you talked about the fact that social media has really been of help to you, especially when you started out, you really cashed in on it. And share with us the experience, especially the impact it has had on your business. Okay, so
now, what I noticed about social media, although I know there are a lot of coaches on social media trying to help you, teach you how to get sales on Instagram and all that, but what I did majorly was sponsored ads. You understand? And I found out that whenever I do sponsored ads, my sales increases. You understand? So I leveraged on that. Every month, I just budgeted an amount for, you know, for sponsored ad and all of that. So that increased my customer base. Of course, it increased publicity, not as visibility, let's put it that way, because now I get people who just see me on Instagram and they just, you know, chat me up or call me, oh, I saw you, and you understand. So it has helped with visibility, you understand, and sales as well.
Okay, so let's go down deeper into the issue of your sales.
Okay.
All right, now you've talked about the impact it has had on your business, positive one though. Now let's look at the profit aspect of it. You know, what would you say has been the profit like for you in terms of your sales on a weekly/monthly?
Okay, so it varies in terms of sales. You know, some weeks we have a lot of, you know, more sales than others. But on the average, I would say, let's say between 30 to 40K in a week. You understand? On the average, or maybe let's say 25 to 30. Don't let me exaggerate. Yeah, so 25 to 30 on the average weekly.
So what's your profit margin like?
Let's say about 10%, yeah, 10 to 15%.
Okay, so when you talk about these sales that rises between 30 to 40K,
yes,
is it largely dependent on B2B? And when I mean B2B, business to business or business to customer?
Business to customer.
More business
to customer. Yeah, I haven't started business to business yet, which I intend to, and I hope to, but at the moment it's business to customer, B2C.
So how's the experience been like, business to customer?
Well, it has been good because, although challenging as well,
so
because
challenges too.
Okay, so like, you know, when you make something and maybe customer, for example, delivery, the person gets it late and all of that. And I've had a customer where about an incident where the customer said she wasn't taking it again because the dispatch rider got there late. So I had to literally beg and call, as I spoke, the guy had to prove because he explained to me what the challenge was and all that. So I told, okay, please put it on this conference call and all of that. So he did that so that she could hear our conversation exactly. So we were literally begging her because there was nothing, because I think it was on the mainland. So he couldn't bring it back. And he didn't want to take it home. There was no, you understand? So we had to literally beg her and all until she finally agreed. So that's one of the challenges, because if the customer, refuses because of late delivery, it's a loss on our part. Another thing, sometimes the customers are not at home and the dispatch rider is waiting and waiting and waiting. That's another challenge, you understand. Then also transportation, the delivery itself, the cost of delivery with increase in fuel price now, you understand. For example, last week we delivered to a lady at Surulere, and it was, I think the cost, delivering from here to Surulere was coming to about 5,000. I couldn't tell the customer that, because I know that would discourage her completely. So another thing I try to do is look for alternatives. Now, my church is at Jakonde, you understand? So what I do is, okay, we can schedule this delivery, you understand, on days where we can deliver from another location that will reduce your delivery cost. So that was what we did. So on Thursday, she wanted it on Wednesday, so we moved it to Thursday. And on Thursday, we baked it, then I took it along with me to church, and so we got the dispatch to deliver it from. So at the end, she paid like 3,500. At least it reduced the cost.
So in other words, you shifted ground so as to meet that because obviously for entrepreneurs like you, every opportunity counts. So you don't turn off any opportunity because the person cannot afford to pay. So now let's look at the areas where it is within your means to work on, especially with regards to timing.
Yes.
You cannot do anything when it comes to a dispatcher heading to a customer's house, getting there, the customer is not around. There's nothing you can do actually. But in areas where you need to have a synergy with your dispatcher, especially with regards to time. How have you been to deal with that?
So usually we are up early, you understand, and so we would have booked the dispatch the day before.
What's your order time?
When you say order time,
when do you want them to place their orders?
Okay, so now the most orders should come in, if for next day delivery, orders should come in latest 5 p.m. That's like today. If you want it tomorrow, latest 5 p.m. So if you're ordering like today in the morning, at least before 10 a.m. or latest 10 a.m.
So
your order should have come.
You don't do express service?
No, not at the moment, because especially the distance, because and the baking process, you understand. So if you want it same day, book as early as 10 a.m. you understand, so that we can deliver it to you on the same day.
But as an entrepreneur, don't you need to cash into that, especially with regards to express service, which of course would make you want to increase in your workforce?
Definitely working on that. We are looking into that.
So what's your area of focus when it comes to recruitment, especially to increase your workforce?
Okay, so bakers. I'll need more bakers, you understand, because at the moment we are just 2 in terms of bakers. So, but I'll increase so that bakers, and also I'm hoping to have close a deal with a dispatch company. You understand, so that we can always communicate and contact them anytime we need them urgently and all. So one of that. Then delivery guys as well, so that because sometimes when the dispatch riders are not available, I can always send someone to go deliver, you understand, using public transport. So that's one of those are the areas we are.